international people. How you been? This is Louise Uwachu broadcasting live from Vancouver, Canada, and today is February 14th, 2013. Welcome to the You and I Talk Show. We're happy to have you. So, if you're expecting me to wish you some happy Valentine, you've turned into the wrong show. I don't know who's this Valentine, all right? I don't know why he got to interfere with a love relationship with our, me and you and I love. So, if you know that guy, happy Valentine's. If you don't know him, we're still talking about love today. So thank you for being with us, and it's going to be very, very lovely because we have a guest that we have had on the show before, and he was so loved that we had to love him back and invite him again. All right, so let's bring him in, and thank you for being with us again on the You and I Talk Show. Good evening, Brother Harry.
How are you doing, Louise? Thank you very much for having me back on your show and to discuss this topic of love.
Well, Thank you for being with us. You are so inspiring, Brother Harry, also known as R.A. Walden, the author of The God Genes Decoded. And it was so great talking to you. So we also wanted to find out what happened to all the women who have been calling you for.
Well, haven't been a lot of women calling me, but to say the least, Valentine's Day, just by the amount of marketing and promotion that it gets, it has left an impression on a lot of women, and you can definitely see it in the ethers and through your dreams and stuff like that. Certain people only contact you around Valentine's Day if it was a past love interest and stuff like that. So, but when you read about love, people expect a lot,
Wow. So who knew that love would also become a business? Because love, as Valentine's Day, is a business.
Yeah, how do I put it? I don't think love could have avoided being a business. I think that love is one of the most important things to any type of organism, any type of species, any type of being. When we look at the many facets of love and, what love means, it being symbolized by our heart, no heart, no life. Our heartbeat is the rhythm of our life. It's what moves us, our civilization is going to, a Western capitalist civilization is going to take advantage of the concept of love. So many movies, love is a theme in there. Guy gets the girl or girl gets the guy. Women are used to sell stuff because men are supposed to like women. Love, like, attraction, and these type of things are such powerful, emotive triggers that if you're going to have a concept such as capitalism, you are going to capitalize on it. So, who knew love would become such a big business? Maybe the Roman Catholic Church, who is one of the major partners in Western civilization, knew that love was going to become a big business.
The Roman Catholic, speaking of the Roman Catholic that we were saying, the Roman Catholic, a pope, is the one who declared this day, this Valentine's Day, supposedly was something completely different back in the days, like a pagan celebration of just sex and erotism, and then a pope declared it to be a loving day. And now, today, in 2013, I don't know, the Pope quit right before Valentine's, so I don't know if Valentine is still valid. What do you think?
First of all, I mean, for the Pope to quit before Valentine's Day is actually a good thing for the Roman Catholic Church, because that guy was really, really, really ugly. and I don't think that people loved him, you know. And maybe the Roman Catholic Church didn't love him either, so they asked him to resign. Have you take a look at that guy's face? No love. He just looks all evil. Love has to look good, and I think that the Roman Catholic Church is taking a hit from the presidential elections in America and saying, we need a good-looking pope.
Wow. Okay, so they will get a gay black man as a pope? Is that what you're saying?
More than likely, yeah. You know, statistics are being ran. Public polls are being taken, and right now, handsome black leaders are the in thing. You know, I mean, it's been the in thing for forever. Tall, dark, and handsome has ruled the psyches of women for thousands of years. And finally, you know, you can no longer stop the hearts and minds of the leading gender in civilization in wanting tall, dark, and handsome.
Wow.
So we might have a tall, dark, and handsome pope.
Wow. Then I'm definitely never going to be a Christian.
Pardon me?
Then I'm definitely never going to be a Christian, because it means that women are praying to a human or something, or love. What? Okay, let's not even go to Rome yet.
Yes.
Let's come back to our topic of the day. Now, what would be love to you without all this that is supposedly love today?
Wow. Love for me would be, you know, actually what I really, really codified and went into in volumes 1 and 2 of my book, especially volume 2. You know, it's the loyalty, it's the respect for that other person that you want to build with, that you want to survive with. You know, love for me is the realization that you can't be successful as an individual. You can only be successful as a collective, as a group. You know, you cannot grow, you cannot expand, you cannot become great as a single entity. You know, greatness requires building, working with other people. And for that, you need love. You need true love. Else it will fall apart and you won't get very, very far. So, you know, it's the rules of engagement between the people that you are working with. You know, you got the so-called plutonic love because, you know, I'm a heterosexual and that's my orientation and that's my moral standard. And then, you, of course, you have the intimate, you know, sexual love that is necessary between a man and a woman. But in each case, for it to be something that you would want to die for, you know, you need certain rules of engagement to be observed. You need certain protocols, certain laws that are observed, you know, and that for me is love.
Mhm. So, how do you celebrate? How is love supposed to be celebrated? What does chocolate and flowers and cards have to do with love and
Well,
champagne and romantic music?
yeah, I mean, we could start with chocolate. We
Uh-huh.
could start with, you know, um, showing showing appreciation through gifts. That can very well become part of the fabric of love. You know, it's
Mhm.
the thought that counts. Um, Flowers, uh, we can get esoteric with flowers and what flowers represent.
Oh.
Our chakras look like flowers,
Mhm.
and so love represented as flowers is encoded as a part of our body, and flowers represent the ability to thrive and express beauty in difficult conditions. You know,
Uh-huh.
yeah, flowers are used for a lot of remedies for healing people,
Uh-huh.
and as a traditional priest, flowers are used in baths to help people to be able to thrive in adversity. So flowers represent the ability of love to thrive in adversity.
Uh-huh. But if someone gives you flowers, are they not killing the flower? I mean, how is that love to the flower?
How is that? How is that love to the flower? Um, I'm just going to say I'm just going to be stumped here. You know what I mean? Luis has stumped me on the flower thing, and if you use a flower to show love to someone else, you're not showing love to the flower. Well, what I would do then is that I would ask the flower for forgiveness, and
Uh-huh.
then I would ask the person to, instead of discarding of the flowers,
Uh-huh.
I would ask the person to take a bath with the flowers before they
Uh-huh.
discard the flowers.
Uh-huh. Okay, what does that do?
Oh, it puts the energy in your aura. It puts the
Uh-huh.
wisdom of the flower in your aura. These are supposed to be secrets that people pay a lot of money for.
Uh-huh. Wow, we're gonna start charging people for the You and I talk show.
and then you can move to New York City.
Exactly, and then I can become a multimillionaire, rich enough to be in New York.
And charge people to walk you. I'm sorry, and pay people a whole lot of money to walk your dog instead of really, really giving back to the poor and needy.
Yes, I'm so traumatized that all this. I mean, I've been to New York and people love their dogs more than they love. I don't know, people out there, other human beings. The amount of money that people spend on their dogs and babysitting their dogs, dog walking. That's a lot of love to a dog. What's up with that?
Um, you know, I think that what happens is that the companionship that you get from a dog, especially since a dog is, almost 100% subservient, is not the type of companionship you get from another human being. You
Mm.
know, when we look at the human condition, it's not easy to reduce a human being to the functioning of a dog that just, you know, acts a certain way with its master, and it's true that is its master over and over again. So, you know, if you can't uplift humanity and get human beings to function a certain way, and you come into a whole lot of money, you're going to gravitate towards a dog.
Hmm.
as a friend, as a
Now,
loyal, trusted friend.
would that be because you don't have enough love for your fellow human beings, or would that be from the bad experiences that you've had from your fellow human beings, and then you prefer to go for the love with um, an animal?
I really think that it's a bit of both. It's a bit of both. A person resigned themselves to pretty much, you know what? This is the best. This is the best love that I can get. You know, uh, and that's what they do. I mean, in my opinion, I think it goes too far, just in the light of you know how the rest of humanity has to live. But I, I, ivory towers. People live in ivory towers. If you can afford one, you go get one, and you justify yourself with what you do, and you forget about the world until it comes crashing into your reality.
Mhm.
You know.
Wow. Very, very, very disappointing, all this unnecessary love. So you have a very interesting tree of life, and you say you call it the original part Neteru as the
Mhm.
tree of life.
Right.
And in that tree you have the heart um, at one of the most important placement, which comes like a number 2 or 3 right away on top of the tree.
Let me see. It would be the ba at the top. It would be the ku at second place, the shekem at third place, and then the eb, the heart at fourth place. Yeah, that would be a tree. That would be our anatomy. What people might consider the different divisions of the spirit, and the heart. Our heart comes very very high up there. Is
Mhm.
very, very important. So, I think that every sphere of the tree has some type of representation or some type of expression of what love is. But, that the heart has been used as a symbol of love and expression of love since time immemorial, and it being such a high place on the tree of life shows how important love is, and
Mhm.
and then when you look at the correspondence for that sphere on the tree of life with the heart, with love, with law and lawfulness, and morality, you know, obviously love is not the same thing for everyone. For some people, people like myself, love is love is critical for morality. Yes, I realize that there are different expressions of love. There are lower and there are higher expressions of love. There is a love that is mainly attraction. I prefer to go with the purified, high moral, ethical standards that love represent, and the way that love is then used to, integrate as a fabric of civilization so it can be promoted, it can spread, and you can truly have, you know, loving people, moral people, upright people. And that's what I see from the tree of life, where
Mhm.
love has such a uh, high place.
Mhm.
As a matter of a fact, I wrote a third book, and it's called "Love is the Foundation and Practice of True Kabbalah."
Mhm.
I think now I saw that it's love just seemed to be relegated to a place of perverse low standards when people enter into institutions such as religion or spirituality, And not only that, um, love as a moral contract, love as a constitution is something that isn't given much thought. So, from my first book to my second and third, love is the central theme. And, just based on me living in human civilization at this time, from childhood to recently, I've heard people talk all type of things. People talk about God, people talk about no God, people talk about aliens, people talk about science, but I don't think that people really talk about love enough. And when most people talk about love, it is paltry at best. It is it doesn't they don't want to break the bonds of what is stagnating the human population. They don't want to push the envelope and, move out of this, negative downward spiral and depressing way of life. So the conversation gets pulled down into the dungeons of what you have agreed to not want to do because of your fears and your traumas. So, I really saw that, not just talking about love from the Western point of view or from the current point of view, but seeing how without love there's no morals. Without morals there is no love. And really, really going into that topic and seeing that we have life because of love.
Mhm.
You know?
Now, why is love always associated with the heart when some people say that love, the emotion, you feel the emotion in your stomach? Now, why would it not be associated with your stomach? Why this specific association between the heart and love?
Well, feeling love in your stomach, most people won't understand that they dwell. You are your central consciousness, your central being is in your stomach by your solar plexus. You are a young, very small sun in your solar plexus, but your heart is what keeps your heart is what pumps one of the most your heart is what pumps one of the most important things necessary to sustain life. And what I'm realizing is that love is the most important thing necessary to sustain life. You take love out of life, people won't have the inspiration to live. So the heart is associated with love because they know, learned men and women know how important love is to life. And we know how important our heart is to our life.
So love is like the blood. Would it be a synonym then to say blood? Is that why they always say blood is
more
thicker?
than the blood? Love is what keeps the blood flowing, keeps the energy going. Love is what keeps the energy going. The blood is the energy. Chi or ki travels with the blood. Chi or ki is the liberated electromagnetic energy of the blood. It is the positive electrons that comes off of the blood that is liberated from the blood that forms the meridian lines. And this is the animal totem called the Kiebet. So you have the Ka, you have the Ka-ebet, which actually sits across from the heart. And the Ka-ebet has Eb in the middle of that name because of its relationship to the heart, which pumps the blood. So you have the chi force that comes off of the blood. They say chi travels with the blood. So the heart is what keeps the energy going, meaning love is what keeps the energy for life going. People do things because of love. People are motivated because of love. Love is the greatest motivational force.
I see. Now, how and when does Ma'at become love?
Well, Ma'at is love because, as I was saying before, love is that ideal of morality, of what is right and what is wrong. And that is that motivates people the most. What's right. Doing the right thing is a great motivator. However, with Ma'at, it is not an arbitrary or subjective perspective or opinion. With Ma'at, it's a calculation. It is a mathematical calculation. It's an intelligence and it's a wisdom. It's not just a feeling. It's not just a whim. Doing the right thing is relative to taking in the variables and constants. It's a balanced equation. Which is why she has those skills, and it represents, love as balance.
So Matt is kind of love with logic.
Yes, love with logic. Ma'at has two sister wives. One is Sishat and one is Sofik Eabut. Sofik Eabut is the goddess Sophia, who is the exemplification of the love of wisdom itself.
The
love of wisdom itself. So, love as wisdom, and the love for wisdom is also important for love.
Sorry, say that again. Love
As wisdom, and the love for wisdom is important for love to survive as well.
So love can also be used as wisdom.
Love is a wisdom. Let's say true love, not just the feelings. Remember, when you look at the scale, you have the heart and it's balanced against the feather. The feather more so exemplifies logic, ideas, which are intangible and light. The heart as motivation and inspiration, that carries weight. But it has to be balanced against logic, true logic, philosophy.
So what if you're just an emotional person and you have a lot of love in you, but you've never experienced any of that philosophy and logic? And what does that do to your love becoming wisdom? Are you then just the type of person who falls in love with the wrong people because you don't understand love? Or what does that do to you versus?
Well, you will be youthful and you will be naive. And I think that there are a lot of people that are guilty of that. I am guilty of that. I was sitting down there praying today, just saying, I just want to be a nice person. I just want to do good. And realizing that my perception of wanting to do good was very immature, unrealistic, and naive. But I still have that in me. I just want to do good. But it's not enough to just want to do good. And doing good is not as simple as we think it is.
Mhm. So what else do we need on top of wanting to
We
do
need
good?
that philosophy, we need that logic, we need that wisdom, and we need experience.
So what about this idea that, if you have love, you're supposed to just be loving everything and everyone?
Well, then when you have a more holistic idea of love, you will realize that you love the serial killer by making sure he gets executed, and then he could go to reform in hell and be purified. But you can't keep him in the human population because he is ruining innocent people's lives.
So love can also be about distraction.
Yeah, destroy the cancer that's destroying civilization. Out of a love for civilization, out of a love for self-preservation, you have to take care of business.
Uh-huh. Now, what does love have to do with romantic relationships and marriage? And is love a reason enough, a justification enough for people to get married? Hence, this idea that anyone who is in love with anyone can get married without consideration whatsoever of the couple or the responsibilities of the couple in their society.
Well, I mean, we have to look at the definition of love, and then we have to consider the levels of love, because you know what you are saying could very well be relegated to so-called immature love or unholistic love, if a person wants to even argue that such a thing exists. You could have a person that has a like or an attraction for someone, but it's not love. In meaning that can be one of the ingredients of love. There is a motivation there. There is a drive and a passion, as the heart is associated with passion, but is not love because there's no wisdom there. You know, what you are engaging in does not promote a healthy society. You might have a passion or a like and an attraction for, let's say, certain type of people. They might not be the best people for you, and those relationships might not be the best type of relationships for sustaining, maintaining, and promoting a healthy civilization. So, in those cases, what we have here is a failure to communicate.
Mhm. So, what would you call this Valentine? Valentine love that everybody is always excited to celebrate. Where does that fall within what we just said?
I really think that falls into what Western civilization is, what it has become. Let's just entertain the Roman Catholic Church as a religious organization. When was the last time you heard it being called Saint Valentine's Day? It's just called Valentine's Day now. So any connection to religion, hence association with morality, is being ripped out of it. Is being ripped out of it. So that's what it is right now. I think that for those people like myself who believe in love so strongly, if there is a love interest in your life, that you should take advantage of it, because you are living within the prison of Western civilization anyway. You should take advantage of it, and you should use it to show appreciation to those people or that person that you love.
Mhm.
Because for you, you're not caught up into the perversion of it. But, for the rest of the people out there, I mean, what are you going to do? That's where they're at. This is their level of exposure to life and truth and wisdom.
Mhm. Now, last time we were talking about this subject, and then I don't know if we got into the sexual part of it enough, or if we should go back into it. Now, talking about what does sex have to do with love, and why do they call it lovemaking, and is it really lovemaking, and can there be love without lovemaking?
Can there be love without sex? Of course, there can be love without sex. I think that sex is a wonderful invention. Invention, because when we're talking about sex, we're talking about anatomy, and we are talking about sexual parts, and then we're also talking about the processes that get stimulated through the act of sex, which is similar to what happens with the heart and the pumping of the blood, because with the act of sex, there is a stimulation of specifically chi. It's called kundalini, and there's a raising of that energy. So it's not flawed to have an association with so-called love and sex as there is an association with the heart and with love. Of course, unless people are really delving deep into learning about life and the so-called mysteries of life and biology and chemistry and these type of things, then they might get caught up into something else. But, you can look at the negative that comes out of sex, and that's what happens with immature people. Mm-hmm. And you can look at the positive that comes out of it, which you can say would happen with mature people, or let's call them lucky people. So, me personally, and this is just the way that I am, if you're in a relationship with someone, I think you should do as much as you can to make the sex great.
Mhm.
I think you should do as much as you can to make the sex great. I think you should eat a certain way just so the sex can be better. I think if you can afford it, you buy certain foods, buy certain herbs just to make the sex better. Because what sex does for you, what the sexual act does for you, not the 2 or 3 minute, low vitality, lack of proper blood circulation, oppression of the masses through bad nutrition. We're not talking about that. We're talking about healthy human beings engaging in something that boosts their growth hormones, causes the release of dopamine and other types of chemicals that increases their mood, that rids them of depression, that increases their immune system's ability to defend the body. There's so many benefits to good sex that it would be a great ingredient in love.
What about this idea of the female's secretions to be some sort of magical, powerful liquid for the man, and the idea of the sperm to be some sort of medication for the woman?
It is what it carries, it's the energy that it carries, and when we're talking about female secretions and even male ones, make sure that the person is clean. Make sure that the person is clean. and you know, that's the main thing because so much is lost in that. Lately, lately it has hit me that we are not living with a healthy human population.
Mhm.
And we're also not living with a mature human population, nor
Mhm.
very few human beings are intelligent. So, when we start talking about these things, most people can't deal with the fact that, you might need a 6-month detox program before you start, using your female secretions for the benefit of somebody else
Mm.
and your male secretions for the benefit of someone else as well.
Mhm.
And I say this because these are the types of mistakes that are becoming common, whereby a human being, just so they can do something that they heard greatness about, they don't care about whether or not they are healthy. And if you even bring that point up, they feel insulted.
Mhm.
So you have to be very careful when dealing with human beings right now.
Yeah. So, didn't you tell me that people have to get married for this?
People should be married, as in a committed, let's spend the rest of our life together situation if they're going to engage in these acts. This is 100% my belief.
Uh-huh. But so if you're supposed to be good at it, how are you supposed to practice?
How are you supposed to practice? You can practice after you get married. Matter of fact, forever means you have all the time in the world now. And maybe even less pressure.
Okay. Isn't that like for showing up at a game without having been to practice? I mean, like expecting to win.
You'll be surprised how good you can be at something if you're healthy.
Mm.
Remember your first encounter when you were young and virile and strong? I mean, we don't live in civilizations that observe certain moral ethics anymore, so we can keep it real.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need as much because sex is still exercise. If you're healthy, then pretty much a couple of tries and you're going to be well on your way. Now, if you're proper educated as well, you will learn some things about staying on top of your game.
Mm-hmm. So, are you writing a Kemetic Kama Sutra or something? We need to know. Does such a thing exist?
Does such a thing exist? Definitely so, but I am not writing one right now. It's not even it is not even on my mind.
No.
Nah, it's gonna have to get ripped out of me.
Mm.
Yeah, I really think it would be abused.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, I really think it would be abused.
But if you have knowledge that could be so useful to other brothers and sisters out there, then are you at least going to start like a secret society?
Well, you're asking some very, very, very interesting questions. You must have read my book.
I have one of them in my hands right now. Of
Which
course,
one?
I love them.
One or volume two?
I'm still on the God Genes Decoded, and I mean, every time I just always find something new. And by the way, are you the person who told me about the Olmec being from Almec being from Kemet or
Nubia?
Yeah.
The
The connection between the Olmec and how it becomes
the word Kemo.
The word itself, how it's connected to chem or alchem.
Yeah, that was me.
Oh, yeah, very, very, very interesting that around the world, these people would have such supreme knowledge in their hand. And something that I wanted to tell you, when I read your books and I translate some of the words that you use in my own language, it becomes so clear and it makes total perfect sense. Like, for example, the word that we use for the heart is
Hmm.
umutima. Now, umutima is spelled Umutima.
Wow.
And it kind of encompasses what you have been talking about, whether it's the spirit, which is the whether
Right.
it's ma'at, which you see in the tima part,
Right.
and
Maati, yeah.
and then whether it's wisdom, because in my language, when someone is wise, they say that that person has umutima, that person has a heart, surprisingly.
Wow. You are the second African woman that has said just about the same exact thing.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of breaking down these words and relating them to specific concepts, how much it gets proven in African languages.
Mm-hmm.
And this is something that when you write a book, at least when I write based on my experiences, I really want to teach. I'm from a place, I'm from an island where teaching and, getting people up on a high academic standards is almost obsessive.
Mm-hmm.
So, sometimes I go over in my head, did I do the right thing? Am I really helping people to get wisdom? And I thought about language, words, history of words and language, and relating it and seeing that, language in, let's call it pre-Western civilization times, it proved itself within itself in terms of bringing people, in terms of instilling wisdom into people.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where you will win the battle to enlighten and impart wisdom on other people when they see that, within the words that we use, even within the English language, which borrows and which comes from another ancient languages, all words have a history.
Mm-hmm.
Once you start to point out certain things,
Yeah.
you can see the truth and wisdom in it.
Mm-hmm. It's very interesting because the word umutima in itself also has umuti, that first part of it, umuti, which means medication.
Wow.
Yeah. And then ma, which is ama or ma or imana, which is the Almighty. The words just is so powerful. The words just for the heart.
Yeah, and when we're talking about its relationship to meditation, and you have, in there,
Mm-hmm.
which is one of the most important sounds to meditate with and on.
Mm-hmm.
Because it stimulates love. It stimulates love and the wisdom of love, the sound Om.
Mm-hmm. Wow. So I'm going to have to spend time with you and teach you some Kinyarwanda or something.
Which language is that again?
It's Kinyarwanda.
Kenya. Oh, you're from Kenya.
No. Kinyarwanda. Kinyarwanda is the language of Rwanda. The Kenya part means the language
You're from the Congo.
Well, next to the Congo, Rwanda.
Rwanda.
Yeah.
I'm Congo.
Yes, Congo is Rwanda should be part of the Congo
Right.
in terms of what the Congo is to all of Kemet and all of Africa and the
Yeah.
whole world. So
It's the
Rwanda,
roots.
yeah, it's the roots. So
Wow.
very, very, very nice. Are you thinking of going to the motherland to see how much your knowledge is true? To feel good about yourself.
You know, finance is willing. Finance is willing, you know. Finance is willing, you know. I had all types of plans, but capitalism had other types of plans.
Mhm.
George H.W. Bush had other types of plans. So, you know, my plans kind of ran into his plans, and he had a bigger army behind his plans.
Mhm.
So right now, I'm going to keep praying and meditating on love.
I see. Luckily for
Yeah.
you have bigger wisdom, so I guess that's why you're still thinking about it.
Oh yeah, you know, keep yourself healthy because tomorrow isn't promised, and the details of tomorrow isn't promised, and then there is eternal life.
Mhm.
There is eternal life. So, at the very least, I know that if I can't do it in this life, I'll do it in next life because it's still going to be there. You know, Africa is so huge. Africa is so huge. You know, it's not something that can be changed in a few hundred years. So I'll be able to get there and, you know, speak to those people who still carry the ancient languages and sounds and the intonations and the meanings. You know, so, you know, that would exemplify the history of language and the origin of language and the fact that language is about expressing love.
Yeah. It changes everything when you change the language actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People go from being you know, moving up the evolutionary ladder to being more suicidal. You know, language is language is the key. You know, and in the sense of the relationship of the sounds and the meanings of the sounds. You know, like you could say language is the key, but what is the key? You know, what is key? Because,
I see.
You know, key is chi. Key is that positive, inspirational electromagnetic energy.
So this may explain why, personally, the word love and the sentence "I love you" means nothing to me. I mean, it doesn't vibrate with me. It's just it doesn't mean anything to me. I've tried to understand it, even the word love itself, and it just doesn't touch me. I mean, is that normal? Is that because I've grew up in another language, in another culture, and the translation is completely off?
And because love and the concept of love has been perverted, it has been strangled, it has been raped, it has been, you know, sullied as well.
So you're saying I'm not heartless or anything like that?
No, I mean, you know, I grew up in the Western language paradigm. You know, so I'm going to use it. I'm going to resurrect it. You know, I have done the research and seen the word love across different languages and cultures and how it is related to this concept of love. You know, but in the culture that I live in, it's still, the word itself still doesn't evoke as much for me because so many people are vibrating with this concept of word the wrong way.
Mm.
The wrong way. So it's deep in me.
Mhm.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's more of a concept. I will allow the word love to be used because, hey, that's the language that I was born and raised in.
Mhm.
But, it just doesn't do much for it anymore.
Mm.
It's being perverted. It's
Mhm.
like, the word voodoo.
Mhm.
It's not a negative word. It's not
Mhm.
a bad word.
Yeah.
But for so many people, when they hear it, oh my goodness,
Yeah.
because in their minds, in their consciousness, in their psyche, it's being pulled down to nonsense.
Yeah. Wow. So inspiring. Wow. Thank you, Brother Harry, so much. We only have a few minutes left. Now, before we go, tell people who's the right man, who's the right woman, versus the wrong man and the wrong woman to be in love with, and then we can end on that.
Wow. It's the one that's going to help you to grow.
Mhm.
It's the one that is going to be strong enough to tell you the truth and to do it even in such a way that it can be brought across to you so that you can listen. That's the right one. It's the one that is willing to make that transition. And I'm serious about this.
Mhm.
Is the one that is willing to walk with you across that transition to a better life, and not a
Mhm.
better life in the perverted, immature sense of the word, but that when you sit down and actually discuss and you come to the realization and you agree, hey, this is better, that they actually are going to do it with you as opposed to holding on to their fears and their traumas. So there's
Mhm.
not just empty words and concepts that are coming out of their mouth, things that they're not willing to do, but that they will acknowledge is the right thing to do.
Wow. That is so inspiring. Who is willing to walk with you across the transition to a better life?
Yes.
Wow. Well, I hope you have such people, such a person, and tell our listeners where they can find you before we go, where they can find your very inspiring books, where they can contact you in private to get those, secret knowledge that you have.
Wow. You can contact me at EgyptianVoodooPriest@gmail.com. EgyptianVoodoo Priest Priest @gmail.com. You can find the book on Amazon.com. Title search The God Genes Decoded. And I have a website called Our Truth, HOURTRUTH.com.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much for being with us. And it's been so lovely. Now, are you going today to celebrate any unknown Roman saint?
No, actually, today I watched a movie that was about a whistleblower and sex slavery in the Balkans. And
Oh.
I just thought about love and how doing the right thing. Whilst people are out celebrating love, women are being trafficked in Europe, in Africa, in America. And when are people just going to stop and put these so-called holy days and holidays aside and really ask for a better planet. So no, I'm not going to any celebrations.
Thank you. That is the way to live.
Thank you.
Have a great evening, Brother Harry, and we will keep in touch.
Let's keep in touch. You have a great evening, too, and thank you for bringing me on your show.
All right. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Ciao. All right, my international people, Vancouver, Montreal, the United States, Canada, America, Europe, Africa, Kamita, thank you for being with us, and we love you. Tunawapenda, tunawakunda, and we love you in your language. We wish you love, wisdom, do the right thing, blood, beautiful morals, exercise, and find the people who will walk with you across the transition to a better life, like the professor was saying. So thank you for being with us again, February 14th, 2013, live from Vancouver. This is your host, Louise Wachu. Have a great night. Muramuche, murotimana, muraraharijana, hatarijana, hararabanzi. Hanyuma bakundana murabeho iteka akaramata.